Today is Friday, and for those of you who know, Friday is my shot day. So I am doing my 23rd injection today, and then I'm going to recap my week 22 results and then talk about my non-scale victories. So if you're interested in seeing that, make sure you stick around and let's get this show on the road. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Pamela if you're new here, and I am on a weight loss journey using lifestyle modification and a little help from some compounded tirzepatide. And today I wanted to talk about some of the non-scale victories that I've experienced throughout my journey on a GLP-1. And for those of you who are new to my channel, I struggled with my weight for about the last 20 some odd years. And I tried just about every diet under the sun. I've been on Phenermin, I've tried hydroxycut, metformin, topiramate, naltrexone, bupropion. Good old-fashioned exercise, the standard American diet, the keto diet, the Atkins diet, low-carb diet.
2,000 years later.
After going back and forth with my weight, losing weight, gaining it back, the roller coaster ride of not being able to maintain my weight loss and getting frustrated, getting off a diet because I can't stick to it, I finally decided that I needed help. And I got that help from compounded tirzepatide. And since I've been on this journey, I have lost over 30 pounds. And I've been able to change the way that I think about food and make modifications to my diet and exercise routines, which is helping me to make better choices, helping me to build habits that are sustainable long term. And I want to share that with you today. But first, I need to do my injection. I've already washed my hands. I've got all my supplies right here. I'm ready to do this. I've got my alcohol prep pad, and I'm going to clean off the top of my vial. I'll be doing my injection in my upper right abdomen. Last week I did my lower left abdomen, and the week before that I did my lower right abdomen. So I'm just kind of alternating my spots here, which is recommended. If you're not familiar with the GLP-1, you should alternate your injection site. So I've cleaned off the top of my vial, and I'm getting my syringe here. And the first thing that I'm gonna do, and this is not necessary, but I like to do this, is I'm going to pull my plunger back to the 30 mark. I am on a compound that is approximately 30 units for 5 milligrams. My compound is 17 milligrams per milliliter, which is a full syringe. To get 5 milligrams, I need to do just under 30 cc's, like 29.5 cc's, but I just do 30 because there's no way I'm gonna be able to get 29.5 in here. And so now that the top of my vial is dry, I'm gonna take the cap off of my needle. If you're not familiar, and I'm not sure if this is gonna show, but if it does, the needle is very small. It's only about a half an inch, not even a half an inch. It's maybe a little over a quarter of an inch long. And it is a very thin needle, so you do have to be careful not to bend the needle when you put it into the vial. So I'm going to stick it straight down into the top of the vial in the center of the little ridge. And then I'm going to press the air into the vial. And the reason I do that is so it can help eliminate the vacuum that creates in the vial. If you just put your syringe in and try to draw the medication out, it can create a vacuum. And so it makes the plunger a little bit harder to pull back. And then sometimes you can get air bubbles in your syringe. And not to say that you won't, like I just got a little tiny bit of air in there just now, but it does help with that. So I'm gonna draw this back just over the 30, and then I'm gonna tap it a little bit to get that air bubble up to the top, making sure not to bend my needle because that would not be good. And then I'm gonna push the plunger back to the 30 mark, and that will give me my 5 units. It's actually 5.1, but I will be doing again my upper right abdomen. So I'm going to pull my shirt up and just tuck that in there. And I'm just gonna do right here. And I do not like doing my upper abdomen because for some reason that spot is a little, I'm not gonna say painful, it doesn't really hurt, but it's not as painless as the lower abdomen. I guess because there's not as much, I mean, there's fat, you can see, there's fat there, but, you know, and I can definitely pinch, but it's not like my lower abdomen where there's fat. So, I mean, there's fat and then there's fat. So, I don't know, it's not as painless. Now that this area has dried, I'm just gonna go ahead and pinch a little bit, and I'm gonna poke this in, and I'm not pinching hard. I'm just trying to grab a section so that I can get the syringe in with the least amount of resistance. And that's it. The injection is all done. I'm gonna get one more alcohol wipe, and I'm just gonna wipe that off for good measure. And then I'm also going to take another alcohol wipe, and I'm just gonna wipe off the top of my vial before I put it back in my refrigerator. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up all this mess, and then I'll be back to talk about my week 22 results and my non-scale victories along this journey. So stay tuned. Before I talk about my non-scale victories, let's go ahead and talk about my progress for week 22. And just to recap, when I started my journey, I was 196.9 pounds. Again, I am 5'2" for reference. And when I weighed in last week, if you watched that video, you know I was 162.6 pounds. If you haven't watched that video, I'll put the link up in the cards so you can check that one out after you watch this one, of course. Now, when I weighed in this week, I was 162.2 pounds. That is a loss of 0.4 pounds since last week, and a total loss of 34.7 pounds since I've started my journey. I'm absolutely thrilled with that. I've been doing good with keeping up my calories this week. I am averaging this week about 1,350 calories, somewhere around that per day. I'm still working my way up to 1,600, maybe 1,800. I'm starting to second guess that and thinking that I'm gonna stop at 1,600. But right now I'm still working on 1,400. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'll be maintaining 1,400, and then I can start to bump it up to 1,600. And so, yeah, this week is going good. I am really thrilled with my progress. Even with bumping my calories up, I'm still able to lose weight. So that is great. But the thing that I wanted to talk about today is that it's not just about the number on the scale. And I think a lot of times we get so focused on that. How much weight are we losing? How many pounds did I lose this week? How much can I get down? How many have I lost since the start of my journey? How many more pounds do I have to go? And it's not always about the number on the scale. There's also other benefits to being on this journey. Some that I thought about, but a lot of them that I didn't even think about. Before I started on a GLP-1, one of the main things that I struggled with was the food noise. And many people do not know what food noise is. Normal people, well, I'm not going to say normal because I'm normal, but well, that's debatable. It depends on who you ask. But most people who do not have the disease of obesity or overweight don't struggle with food noise. So they may not realize what it is, or they may not know what it is. And even people who do have the disease of obesity or overweight, I'm hearing from other content creators that they didn't know what food noise was until they started taking a GLP-1. And I think that, I guess it was the same for me. I mean, I had heard of food noise and I kind of had an idea what food noise was, but I didn't realize that not everybody struggled with food noise. I didn't realize that I was an exception to the norm, if that makes sense. I didn't realize that other people didn't constantly have that record playing in the back of their mind that was telling them, you have cookies in the cabinet, or there's ice cream bars in the freezer, or you should eat pizza today for lunch. I didn't realize that other people don't have that. And it's just like a record player that keeps going and going, and it's just, it's on repeat. Once it gets to the end, it shuffles back to the beginning and goes back, and you're just constantly hearing, there's chips in there, even though you just ate. Oh, maybe you want a candy bar. Now that you've eaten something salty, you might want something sweet. Or now that you've eaten something sweet, maybe you want something salty. And it's just that constant going and going and going. And the GLP-1 has knocked that out. I don't struggle with that. Not to say that I don't ever think about what do we have in the refrigerator to eat, or I wouldn't mind something sweet. I still get that, but it's not the constant, continuous recording going through my brain all the time. So that is the first non-scale victory that I've found. And because of that, it has freed up my mind to have more clarity and think about the other things that I need to be focusing on. So when I'm working, I'm not constantly thinking about, oh, is it lunchtime yet? Ooh, should I have a snack? I'm able to focus more on my work, and it's made my work more efficient because I'm not constantly distracted by the food noise. So that is the second non-scale victory. The third thing that I've noticed is, before starting on my GLP-1 journey, when I would wake up in the morning, I had what would feel like a heel spur. As soon as I would step down, sometimes it was like a sharp pain, a sharp stabbing pain in my heel. It would come and go. It wasn't constant, but it was pretty steady. Once a month, maybe once or twice a month, I would feel that. And it would last for a few days, and then it would kind of go away. And of course, I would have to keep my foot up, make sure I wasn't stepping too heavy on it, make sure I was wearing comfortable shoes with extra padding, just to make sure that I wasn't putting too much pressure on it. Since I've started my GLP-1 and I've started losing more weight, I have not had that heel pain when I step out of bed in the morning. So that's number 3. Number 4 is, I have had a bad knee since I was little. I was in gymnastics all throughout elementary school and junior high. And around junior high, I started noticing that I was feeling my knee. I could feel the bone scraping when I would bend my knee. And even to this day, when I extend my leg, I can hear it and I can feel it clicking, rubbing up against, like you can feel the bones kind of scraping against each other. And sometimes it's painful, sometimes it's not. It's mainly painful if I'm on my feet for long periods of time, if I'm doing a lot of walking. I don't really do any running or jogging because of that. I have a hard time doing certain workouts. Squats I can kind of do, but running on a treadmill is absolutely out of the question because, you know, when you're running, your foot hitting, it just puts too much pressure on my knee. So I can't really do that. But the knee pain has not been as bad. And this is kind of taken me into the fifth one, but they go hand in hand, I guess. Aside from the knee pain, when I was in my late 20s, I guess, I started having some real bad pain in my sacroiliac joint for some reason. And I don't know if this is hereditary because my mother has hip pain, same leg. So it's possible that it's hereditary, but I started having pain in my hip. And that has not completely gone away. And I don't know if that will ever go away, but it has been greatly reduced. So there would be nights when I wasn't even able to sleep because my hip, I would have like a shooting pain going down my leg. And I haven't really had that much since I've started on my GLP-1. I do have lidocaine that I will put on my hip sometimes, and I haven't had to do that nearly as much as I have since before starting on my GLP-1. And that's not to say that the medication is taking these pains away, but because of the medication, I was able to drop weight, which is helping with the pain. I have a 2-story house and my laundry is upstairs and my bedroom is downstairs. So in order to do my laundry, I have to take the laundry upstairs. I normally do not go upstairs at all because it would be so painful for me to get up and down the stairs. Normally, I would have to take one step at a time and I would have to lead with my right foot and then step my left foot up. Lead with my right foot, step my left foot up. I couldn't just go right foot, left foot because it was too much pressure for my knee to be able to pull my body weight up. And even going down the stairs, I would have to do the same thing going down just because it was too much for my knee to carry the full weight of my body. And I've noticed that not only now am I able to go up and down the stairs without just leading with my right foot, I can now go faster up and down the stairs. And I used to get winded going up and down the stairs. And I'm not getting winded as much anymore. Like, I mean, if I go up and down 3 or 4 times, yeah, I'm going to be winded. But it's a lot easier for me to get up and down the stairs now. And that also takes me into, what are we at? Number 6? Number 7? That takes me into number 7, which is breathing easier. I'm noticing that I'm not as winded as I used to be. And I guess I really didn't even realize it until I started documenting my GLP-1 journey and I was editing my videos and I could hear myself breathing heavy as I was speaking. And not to say that I don't still take deep breaths. Like sometimes when I'm editing my videos now, I will catch myself taking a deep breath between my words. But it wasn't that. It was, I could actually hear myself breathing between words, almost like I'm struggling to breathe or like it was harder for me to breathe. And I'm not hearing that anymore. I'm able to get through sentences without gasping for air. I'm no longer constantly out of breath. And number 8, going from a size 18 to a size 10, sometimes 12, but for the most part, size 10. And being able to go into my closet, I've cleaned out I have 2 huge garbage bags sitting over there in the corner that I need to get rid of. because the clothes are way too big for me now. And so I'm pulling stuff out of my closet that I haven't worn in years, and I'm able to wear them again. So that's a huge non-scale victory for me. I know sometimes we get so focused on the scale, and sometimes when the scale is not moving, we'll get a little discouraged. And even now, for me to see my numbers going from 1.5, 2 pounds a week to less than half a pound, it is a little discouraging. But when I look at the bigger picture and I see all of the other things, all of the other benefits that I have gained being on this journey, it makes me realize that there's so much more going on than just the number on the scale. And if the scale doesn't move this week, that's fine, because I know that I'm still getting the benefit of having a pain-free knee or a pain-free foot, or being able to go up and down the stairs and not be out of breath and not have to take 5 minutes to get up the stairs or down the stairs because I'm having to take one stair at a time. So I'm hoping that just me taking a moment to share some of my non-scale victories can help somebody else who might be dealing with the number not moving on the scale or moving in the wrong direction, and encourage them to take a step back and look at some of the other benefits that you might be getting from a GLP-1, and count all of those benefits, because it is not just the number on the scale. We are in this journey for overall health and well-being, not to be skinny, not just to lose weight, not just to lose fat, but to become a healthier, better version of ourselves. I hope this was encouraging. If you thought so, please drop a heart in the comments. Don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. And I will see you guys back here next week with my week 23 results. Until then, stay blessed.